how would I make this? How do I the presentation? Yeah, screen share. Okay.
Yes. Put your cursor in the left of the screen.
Yeah.
Shows up the first one, chat, that you can see here on the right, and the green one is screen share. Did you find it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect. All right. So you can see my screen, right?
Not yet. You have to allow.
All right. Just a moment. Okay. I think we can continue while I figure this out. I think I know where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Today is. Okay. Anders, please introduce yourself.
Yes.
And others.
No, the others, I don't. They could introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Anders, and I'm from Sweden. Oh, that's something happened there. And I'm an ICT advisor in school. In the age of retirement, but I don't like to retire, so I'm so fond of the passion with all the people, and I love scratching with the kids in school. So that's my little passion. So that's me. The next one, Roberto, he couldn't speak.
Yes, I can speak. Just a very, just a little.
Yes.
And I am a high school teacher, and I teach robotics in a robotic for primary school boys and girls, and also middle school. Very happy to join this group, and I just want to learn as much as possible and share my ideas and experiences with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Adel Kassan from Tunisia, and I'm computer science teacher in middle school, and I do clubs with association around Tunisia and conferences, and sometimes I develop my own tool about programming. Now I'm working around the Internet of Things concept, and I'm teaching this in Tunisia in middle school and also with association.
And I am Simon. I'll be presenting to you guys about my project, but I come from Tanzania, and I run I manage an organization called She Code for Change, and we empower girls and young women using to take part in STEM. And we run boot camps, we run trainings for young girls from 12, and also the university girls who are aged like 20 to 30 years old. Yeah.
Okay, just to know a little bit more from each other here. Simon, Anders, Roberto, and we first met in 2013 for the LCL, the first Learning Play to Learn course. We are being together since then. And after for this Scratch online course, creative computing course, and we all together. And then we met Adele, and we've been together participating, interacting, sharing projects, ideas, and helping each other since then, as many others. So we are welcoming you, a new boy, a new generation. We met the three of us met Simon at Bordeaux conference, Scratch conference, Roberto. There was a special presentation for people from Africa. Maybe you could turn off your, okay. And so we are very happy for having Simon here with us with these new ideas and a lot of things to do for his country and people in general. So welcome, Simon.
I'm very happy to be here too. And yes, we met in Bordeaux, and I learned so much there. That was my second introduction to Scratch, because we've used it in our programs before to train girls in our boot camps to make games. But there, I learned so much about what Adele is using, what Heloisa is doing with Scratch. And so actually, a few weeks ago, I reached out to Heloisa and said, we want to do something with Scratch to help disabled children. And it's amazing. I can't wait to share with you what we're doing. Should I pull up the presentation now? Or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Maybe if you could speak a little bit slowly, because there's some echo from your microphone. I tried to put a little bit down your voice, and I think it worked a little bit. It's some echo. Okay.
Great. So I will speak really slowly, just to introduce you to the Tanzanian education system, but also to introduce you to She Code for Change. So I'm sure most of you know where Tanzania is. So we're in East Africa, and as you can see, we are bordered by Kenya, we're bordered by Uganda, and we're next to the Indian Ocean. And so the capital city, which is Dar es Salaam, is really close to the ocean, and just a few minutes walk to the beach. So Heloisa asked me to talk about the education system in Tanzania. And we have three types of schools. We have the public schools, which are owned by the government. We have community schools, which are initiated by the local community together with the local government in the areas. And then we have the third type, which is the privately owned schools. These are started up by individuals, and most of them are for profit. So Tanzania uses a 2-7-4-2-3 sort of system whereby you have pre-primary education, which happens for 2 years. And this one, the kids who take part in this one are between 5 to 6 years. I think this is like kindergarten or nursery school. And so here they just learn basics of counting, mathematics, just to bring them up to speed before they begin primary school. And these are you'll find most of this education in the towns, in the cities, where parents can afford to take their children to pre-primary school. So this goes on for 2 years. And then from there, they move to primary school. Primary school takes place for 7 years. So between 7 years to 13 years of age, boys and girls are sent to primary school, which is primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, primary 4. And the mode of delivery in public schools is Kiswahili for this. So in here, they learn mathematics, they learn civics, they learn science, they learn to speak English. But most of the lessons here are delivered in Kiswahili. After this primary school, which goes on for 7 years, they proceed now. They do the second primary school leaving examination called PSLE, And these ones, so the government sets cut-off points for these examinations, and these are the ones that are used to evaluate who goes to secondary school. And so for 4 years, around the age of 14 to 17 years, girls and boys are then posted by the government to secondary schools to go and study, which is it's a higher level of secondary school. And this one goes on for 4 years, where, and here, it's worth noting here, they begin, during this age, that's where most of the girls begin thinking about their careers. So they choose here whether they want to study arts and social studies, or they choose science subjects. And in most cases, like they would go for subjects like business, they would go for maybe mathematics, they would do history and linguistics in here. And the mode of, now the funny thing with Tanzania system is that the mode of delivery in secondary school changes and becomes English now. So they're required to study math in English, they're required to study all the subjects in English except Kiswahili. For private schools, most private schools, they teach primary, they teach in English, secondary, they teach in English. It's a little bit managed there, unlike in public schools. After secondary school, they would then go on to advanced levels, which is, I think, most out of Tanzania, it would be regarded to as high school. And here, they would spend 2 years. And this is a little bit higher, so they would specialize even more. So if they chose, after secondary school, if they chose to do science subjects, then they would go to special schools where they teach those science subjects. And here they have combinations, so there are subjects you can study together in a combination. So you find if you choose history, you will study it together with economics, geography, and maybe Kiswahili. Or if you choose physics, you will study it with chemistry, biology, and then math. So different schools offer different combinations for students. And usually the age here is 18 to 19 years of age on a normal scale. So that is the advanced level. And after the advanced level, usually you advance now to go to university or the tertiary institutions, such as we have vocational training institutions, we have teacher institutions, and the university. And here, so if you manage to pass a certain cutoff point, then you can proceed. Those with higher credits, they can proceed to university, and the government handles the posting of students to university, especially those who want to go on government scholarship. Those who don't have higher points can either go off to teaching institutions, can go to vocational training institutions, and just study diplomas and short courses so that they can at least advance in their career. So also the education system of Tanzania is really, so usually for those who cannot afford, for example, after primary school, to advance to secondary school, they would say go and begin working for their families, or the girls, some of them would go get married, and some challenges that are out there. The government is trying to provide free education, but that is coming with its own costs and problems, because you find like the schools where they're giving free education, there are no enough teachers, the equipment is not enough, the classrooms are not, the environment for learning is not conducive for the students. So
Simon,
yes.
I have a lot of questions, something I didn't understand, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful, this big landscape you're showing us. It's totally new pictures for me. I'm learning a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just some few questions before you're going ahead, okay?
Yeah.
You said that you have 3 possibilities: private, community, and public schools.
Yes.
Is this for the just for primary schools, or also for secondary or university? How is that? How is the proportion of public schools? Or, for instance, here in Brazil, we have a lot of schools, but they are not good. The best are the private ones. And for university, it is opposite. The best ones are the public. So it's crazy. So how is it in Tanzania? Could you tell us, please?
Yeah, so it's open here, and when you go to pre-primary, when you go to primary, when you go into the secondary, and also the university, you find all these three categories there. Mostly the public and the private. Private people are starting up nursery schools, they're starting up primary schools, secondary schools, and also here, these privately owned schools, they provide better education. They provide better education, and then they provide better resources because it's for profit. But also, they are almost the most expensive schools to take your children to. For the government schools, there are those old schools that have been there for a long time. Those still are considered the best schools because they have all the resources there. And they've been in existence for a long time. So they have a reputation of producing some of the best students in the country. So that is for primary and secondary school and pre-primary. In the universities, there are very few universities. The big universities are owned by the government. We have University of Dar es Salaam, which is considered the best university in Tanzania, and I think it's really reputable for law across Africa. We have also the University of Dodoma. Now, these are government-owned universities. There are also other universities like the Open University and the Medical University, Muhimbili, which are all government-owned, and they are the best. We haven't had so many private universities in Tanzania. There are very few, and some of them are upcoming, and they're not providing really good education. So I think in that case, it's almost similar to what is happening in Brazil there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. And so the government is, there are some initiatives, that are big.
Or let's go on, other guys. It's okay? Okay, let's go on.
Yeah. So the government is putting in some initiatives like scholarships, providing free education to in the public sector, and it's helping to some extent. Most of these public schools, which I think are taking most of the young people of Tanzania and educating them, they are lacking in terms of resources, in terms of the quality of education. And so most of the initiatives that are coming up are geared towards empowering these students and people in the universities. So Shikot for Change is focused on girls. And so when I was talking about the secondary education, I say that's where most of them are choosing what kind of careers to take. But the girls especially at all these different levels. So we have cultures here, some cultures where these girls come from that put them second. So every time the parent is choosing to take one of their children to school, it's usually the boys first. And if there are not enough resources, they would say, okay, let's take the boy and not the girl, you know? It's changing to the better, but it's changing really slowly. And it's sad that some of these cultures really exist, you know? And so at all these levels, you find that girls, they have decisions to make, like either to get married, pregnancies, they have, maybe the resources are not enough. And all of these affect girls greatly, you know? And so you can see there, the girls, some of the parents are like, yeah, it's not a nice thing to take girls to school. Or if they fail, they're like, yeah, we told you girls are not supposed to go to school and stuff like that. So that's where She Code for Change comes in. So we've been in existence since 2015. We started as a project, but now we are registered as a for-profit organization running as a social enterprise. And we offer a lot of activities with the main focus to girls. But also, we are inclusive organization. So we also try to see how boys and men contribute towards STEM and towards women participation in STEM, but also see how we don't just create a future where it's many girls participating and then we forget the boys. So you can ask any question. You can just jump in and ask a question when I'm giving this presentation. So She Code for Change, our biggest goal is to, our mission, so is to expose more girls to STEM. So you can see here, STEM is a new concept in Tanzania, and we are trying to see that girls, because it's fun, it's really interesting, so we're trying to use that approach to expose more girls to careers and subjects, STEM subjects and STEM careers, but also to see that their works, their innovations, their ideas are showcased to the public. And through this, we do this through boot camps. Whenever we have boot camps, our social media, we showcase what the projects the girls are working on. We usually also invite their parents to come and see what the girls are doing. And to do this, we have 5 areas of focus where most of our activities evolve. And the first one is the sparking of girls' interest. And this one happens for girls in primary and secondary school. So these are the young generation. And we don't want, in these activities that are aimed to spark their interest, we are not aiming to make them professionals. We're just aiming to make them see that they can also participate in STEM, make them see that their ideas could be implemented using STEM, but also make them curious about technology and what they can do with technology. And some of the projects we are doing here, the Girls in ICT project, together with the government, and also the Communication Fund of Tanzania. And this project, we travel around Tanzania, we send trainers around Tanzania, and they train girls from secondary school. And these girls, I told you secondary school is 4 years. So most of these girls are trained, that are trained here, are from the 3rd year of secondary school. Because the 3rd year, that's when they have to choose what subjects they want to study. So those who want to study arts will choose arts subjects. Those who want to study sciences will choose science subjects. And so we want to get them at this point where they are deciding about their career. And so in these activities, we do mobile application development using the MIT App Inventor tool. We do game development using Scratch. We do, and next year we are planning to do, actually after Bodu, we met Susan from the US, who is doing Turtle Stitch. And so we want to introduce them to coding patterns with Turtle Stitch, but also robotics and mechatronics. So this is the girls, this is the sparking of interest focus that we have. And so far we've done, you can see on our social media, we've done a lot of activities with young girls, and we hope to keep doing it for as long as we exist. The second focus is sustaining the engagement. Because one of the things we've noticed is that whenever we go to these schools, whenever we do these boot camps for the young girls, after they leave the boot camps and they go back to their schools, it's really hard for them to keep up, to keep practicing, because either they don't have the computers in the schools, or the teachers that they have don't know how to teach STEM. And so the other thing we do is holiday programs, which fall under sustaining. So we do summer camps in July. In July and December, that's when they have the holidays. So we do summer camps and holiday camps in this period, and then we bring them, but they come and attend for free in these boot camps, and then they learn and practice more. But also in sustaining here, we're trying to put a hub, a physical space where these girls can come and participate, and also like just participate in STEM at the space, because that's another big challenge that they face. They don't have spaces that are empowering and are encouraging them to use technology. And so already we are working with Impact Hub Network to bring it to Tanzania and then set up a physical space where these girls can come and participate. But also here, it's worth mentioning, we have a lot of initiatives that we work with some of our local partners here in Tanzania. That so whenever they have the training, we go and offer digital literacy training. One of the new partners that we just started working with is called WeWorld, and they have centers and they have a reach in schools. And so what we do is we go there with our trainers and curricula and teach these students these girls and boys who are in these centers how to use technology. The other focus that we do is inspiring the women to take up STEM subjects and STEM careers. So the other thing, because the Tanzanian system is still growing, it doesn't have some infrastructure in place to empower and show women that they can become, say, engineers. One of the good stories that we had in the Girls in ICT, so in Girls in ICT, we usually take them to visit companies and see how what they're studying in the boot camps is being applied. And so we took these girls to a company, a telecom company called Airtel, and then it was evident, they even started asking us, telling us they are seeing that there are very few women in these companies working. And so one of the things we do is, try to push them to get internships, try to push them to apply for opportunities with these companies, but also show them that they can become a certain career, especially these careers that are male-dominated in Tanzania. It's important that we show them that they can take up these jobs, because then they begin studying towards these careers. And so some of the initiatives that we want to implement here are internship programs, internship placements where they can go and work in companies, but also get programs in place to get girls into these companies to work and take up some of these jobs. Already we are having girls who started participating in our first bootcamp. They're already working in some companies that we know, and these companies tell us, hey, yeah, we have 2 girls who participate in your program, and they're doing really good because they are competent with using technology, laptops, and working with Excel, and it's really helping. The other focus that we do, and these ones are usually for the university students and those older ones who are already starting to think about entrepreneurship, trying to think about implementing their ideas, is supporting. So the other focus is we support them with ideation, we support them with incubation, we support them with technical tools and knowledge. And with this, we usually conduct trainings with the universities and then listen to what their ideas are, help them shape these ideas more, but also we help them now implement these ideas such that they are feasible for the Tanzanian environment. We partner with a hub called Buni. One of the other people we work with, Ajumane, and his company called Sahara Sparks, which is a mentorship and incubation accelerator. And so through this, we are able to help these girls in universities and in institutions that are already thinking about starting up businesses, such that we can have many female innovators in Tanzania. Because the truth is there are very few. In Tanzania, it's very easy to mention 5 male contributors or innovators or startup owners. It's very hard to mention 5 women startup owners in Tanzania. So that's something we are also trying to change. The other thing we've realized that is important to include in our strategy, because we have a strategy that goes up to 2021. We want, because we've noticed it's really hard to do all this grassroots campaign without having a proper long-term plan. And so usually the government implements a lot of policies for inclusiveness, for gender equality, but also we want to see that these policies motivate the girls, motivate the boys to participate in STEM, and also to be innovative. And so some of the things we do is we invite lots of these government stakeholders to come and see what the girls are doing. We do write a lot of reports that we share with them, just to show them that maybe the education system could happen like this. And so it's important that in our programs that to us, that we record as much evidence as possible, that showcase as much evidence as possible about the girls' use of STEM and what they can do with STEM. And the feedback so far is really good. Like, we're getting lots of traction. We're getting lots of good feedback about the programs we're running. And so we hope that through roundtable discussions, through some of these engagements that we have with the policymakers, we can begin a discussion around what STEM, what can be done to include women and men equally in STEM and technology in Tanzania. So that is, in a nutshell, that is what She Code for Change is all about. And those who came to Bordeaux, you met Abella and Rose. They did a really good presentation there about what She Code for Change does. But all this, so we have a team of six women, and we have four guys. And so they are also working in different areas to push technology, to push empowerment for women, empowerment for youth. And yeah, so it's quite nice having them on the team, and they really provide lots of insight. We are trying to establish a Scratch community in Tanzania. We are engaging ourselves now in translating it and localizing most of the content in Swahili, such that we can use them to teach here. Yeah. If you have any questions, you're welcome.
Okay, sure, we have a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to know if you teach computers.
Very good presentation. I thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's we learned a lot from it, and happens that now we have a lot of questions. Thank you. Let's go for the question sections. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if in public or private school they are teaching computer science, or since which age?
So
if you are teaching,
in private schools they are teaching computer science, and these ones between the age of 18, when they are in Form 2, Form 3, that's when they begin having these computer classes. But it's not all of them. In private schools, yes, you might find they are teaching even to the lower kids. In private schools, only the ones that are in the cities get these computer classes. And so one of the learnings that we've got from our girls in ICT is that some of the schools have one computer, which is in the headmaster's room. Most of these public schools don't have electricity. And so it's hard even to teach, for them to have computers there. But one of the initiatives that the government is doing through the Communication Access Fund is to install solar panels and install computer labs in these schools. And so we hope that the situation to change. Yeah. I think most of the mics are muted.
This is Beatrice. Welcome, Beatrice. She's Italian. It's another friend from LCL from 2013.
Yeah.
And now she's living in Sweden too. So welcome, Beatrice.
So actually, Adele, to add on to that question, one of the things we're doing, so actually after Bordeaux, we met with the Pocket Code team. And so with our team here, we've translated already the whole Pocket Code platform to Kiswahili. And so from that, we are hoping to begin teaching even in public schools and centers where there are no computers, but using smartphones and using tablets. So we want to equip our trainers with these teams, and then they can go to the center with charged tablets, teach them how to code on the tablets, and then they come back. And so we hope, because we think the situation is not going to change anytime soon. So, but we want to catch the girls before they grow old.
And I wanted to know about the program of She Codes for Change, the program about your boot camps, about App Adventure. I know a little about it, so can you tell the others about it?
The boot camps, right?
Yes, the boot camp. They are super interesting, and I think it's nice to share some photos if you have, because I know some of them, so they are really nice.
Yeah, I think I would share. We have a documentary on YouTube that we made for this year's Girls in ICT, and I think it's really interesting. I will share the link here. But so these boot camps, we have different types of boot camps. We have the Girls in ICT project, which is for secondary public schools, and this one is for girls between 16 to 18. We sometimes go as low as 13. And the nature of these boot camps is we collect girls in a center, and then for 3 days we teach them mobile application development, depending on the curriculum we choose for a boot camp. So we either teach them mechatronics, or we teach them mobile application development, or we teach them game development. And we use Scratch, we use MIT App Inventor, but also we are involving lots of arts. So some of the boot camps, they do videography and storytelling. And for 3 days, we teach them the digital literacy skills. And then also in the program, we endeavor to teach them how to be confident, how to express themselves. And so we have those pitching trainings and competitions, but then also which they have to use now to talk about their ideas. But also the third thing that we usually do is motivation and inspiration. So in these boot camps, we invite women who are in the tech sector, who have started companies, or who have studied computer science, and they come and talk to these girls. So that is how the nature of the boot camp is. It's usually fun, so we usually take them for those who are out of Dar es Salaam, we take them to the beach, or we take them for a movie, or we take them to play games somewhere. But also because we use computers, they can play around with the computers. We leave it to them to play around, to send emails, to create Facebook pages for themselves, to communicate with each other. And it's usually fun like that, yeah.
Simon, so if I understand, you have one center.
So we don't.
Physical center. You have just one, and then the children and the young people comes to you, or sometimes you go to schools with your team to promote this courses and 3 days activities. How is that? How do you spread the word? How the people know about you and come to you? How is that? How the practical thing that is I think is a very challenging thing to do.
Yeah.
To
so
get
we don't have our own physical space currently. That's in our plans, and next year we're going to embark on a really that's the hub I talked about that we want to create. But usually, what we do, for example, to recruit girls, one of the methods that we do, we work with the government. So the government has a section of the from the Prime Minister's office called TAMISEMI, TAMISEMI, and it's responsible for recruiting these people, the girls from secondary school. So they send us lists of girls and teachers that they want to include in the program, and then we communicate with them, organize logistics, and bring them to the center that we rent to train them for the boot camps. Some of the other activities, it's girls who have participated in our previous activities who bring their friends. So we will call them, because we usually have a database of the girls who have participated, and we'll call their parents and say, we have this program that is coming up for 2 weeks. We need your daughter to participate. And if not, they usually say, okay, my neighbor's daughter is in holidays and she comes over. So that is the other way that we get our girls. But also our social media is interactive, and most of these girls, they've learned how to use Facebook and Instagram. So they will see a poster about an event, and then they would come and sign up for the event. Also, parents send us messages and say, when is your next boot camp? And then we tell them, and then they sign up their daughters to the boot camps. Yeah.
That's great. And
yeah.
One more thing. So you told about to spark this interest in this growth, and also to sustain the engagement.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I'm wondering if people who has already taken this course would come back to help you, and you are accepting more young people than new ones to help you, and so you can grow. How does it work?
Currently, what we are doing is, because most of these girls, so they're young, you know. So some of them, once we spark their interest, once we've introduced them to Scratch, once we've introduced them to STEM and the computers and the tools, we usually they go back to their schools, and we tell them, start an ICT club. Teach your friends how to use these tools. And so whenever we usually go online to track the projects that they've worked on, we see that these girls are actually continuing to work on this. Some of them are continuing to work on these projects. And they usually send us emails and say, we have started a club, we need materials. And so we share some of these learning materials with them. It's been a challenge because so far we haven't secured enough funding to be able to track and monitor such clubs, but we want to make sure that this happens. That whenever they go back to their school, because when they go back, they have to finish their Form 3. They have to go to Form 4, and then they will change the school and go to a high level. So we want, during this time that they're there in their schools, to be able to participate in this, in setting up clubs at their schools, but also, in sustaining their participation, we are trying as much as possible to localize all content and make it easy for them to access. One of the things we are doing is, so currently we are creating a new website that will have e-learning platform on it, such that once they leave the club, so in the effort to sustain it, they can go back and participate in these learning materials online. Yeah, and maybe download a few of these things such that they can be able to continue learning as in their areas. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And one more question. You talk about STEM, not STEAM. You put the A for art. You mentioned about Susan Ettenheim, the broderie things, stuff. But what more do you do? I think art is so important, and you can attract people and sustain that. I think it's so important for a whole person to develop this stuff too. So
yeah,
you are IT guy. So
things...
what do you do without IT? That's the question.
Sorry, I will answer her because I know what you are doing. You can talk about your entrepreneurship program with App Inventor, because you are not teaching only coding, but also you are teaching entrepreneurship, right, to the girls.
Yeah. So
can you tell us more about this?
That's true. So, for example, one of the things we do in the...
Please, a little slower, because a lot of echo is cutting you, so we lost. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So one of the activities we do is, like Adele mentioned, we do teach them entrepreneurship. Is that slow enough? So we teach them how to create businesses on paper. So we teach them how to create ideas out of their community. So whenever they have, usually the first thing we do before we teach them how to use MIT App Inventor, before we teach them how to use Scratch, is we help them formulate ideas. We teach them how these ideas can impact the community. And most of these ideas, whenever we create them, it's without tech. So we look at problems in their societies, for example, an education problem, and then we'll show them how they can innovate and create a solution that is not tech, but a solution that will solve that particular problem. And so during this ideation phase, we teach them how maybe they could make money out of it, maybe how they could create a lot of impact and change lives in their society. That is what we do during the entrepreneurship course. And it's really diverse. I've really just tried to narrow it down. But also without tech, one of the things we do is storytelling. So they write scripts, they write storyboards with characters. So we play a lot with Legos, and then they can narrate the story with voice. So also we are trying to create a comic book that they can use. Bringing these stories to life, that's when we involve tech. So there are some videos I will share also about from the girls in one of the programs we did, that they, after writing the scripts, after writing all the storyboards and drawing all the characters, they went ahead and used smartphones and then recorded using still photography these pictures of the moving Legos, and then they created stories out of it, which is really interesting, and they loved it. And so we want to do it again and again. Also, the other thing we do without tech is I have a lot of, because one of the core of our program is to teach girls how to be confident and how to express themselves. So when we are not coding, when we are not animating things on the computer and on the phone, we are teaching them how to speak, how to be audible, how to speak clearly, how to be confident whenever they are expressing themselves. But also we teach them how to be girls who are empowered, how to be girls who are go-getters and always looking for the next big thing, always looking for the next knowledge. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I think it's so important. Very good.
Very, yeah. We think one of the things that we see in our programs is the girls come when they're really shy, when they don't want to speak, when they're afraid to touch the computer, when they are not talking about what they're feeling. But usually after, they are so vocal, they are so serious when they're talking. It's really, really good. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anders and Roberto, would you like to make some questions? Beatrice?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm very impressed of your presentation, but
Thank you.
I have very low knowledge about Tanzania. Is it a big country? Many people living there?
Yes, Tanzania is a huge country. So I can Google the population here because I don't know it in my head. But in East Africa, we are the biggest country in East Africa, and I think somewhat like the second, no, if not the third largest in Africa, if you check on the map. So like we have a population of around 60 million. I think it's coming close to 60 million now.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really big country. You've heard of Kilimanjaro mountain?
Yes.
Yes, the tallest. So it's in Tanzania. We have the ocean. Our biggest economic product is agriculture products. We have so much. We have a mineral called tanzanite in Tanzania, which is a really, really rare mineral, which is only found in Tanzania. But just to speak about, we are still a growing country, and so because we are growing, you find some areas things like electricity are not everywhere. Paved roads, some places are still with dirt roads. Internet is really fast in the capital city, and it's affordable in the capital city, but it's not spread out everywhere. But also, we still have cultures that haven't moved on to adopt the modern way of living. So some culture practices such as early marriage, FGM, female genital mutilation, also like albinism and discrimination of disabled people. We have cultures that are still practicing some of these cultures that are affecting a lot of girls and children here.
Yeah. And how did you found this She Codes for Change? Is it the government is founding this, or is it a private companies founding?
It is a privately founded company. So one of our founders, called Abela Bateyunga, was a Yali Fellow, the American Initiative for Developing Young Leaders. And after that, she went and interned at Microsoft in Nairobi. And there's an interesting blog about her starting She Codes for Change. I'll share it later. But through that, because she's so big when it comes to youth empowerment and engagement of youth in the governance and economic agendas of Tanzania. And so she founded, She Codes for Change started as a project, as one of the pilot projects for her NGO to engage youth in STEM, and especially girls. But after the first year in 2015, after the first project, it became evident that this should be scaled up. And so now we're in the phase of scaling She Codes for Change. I joined in December last year. And now I'm almost making a year now. And so my activities involve around creating networks and partnerships, programming for the creating programs for the company, but also leading the team and just making sure everything is running and the beneficiaries are benefiting from it.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's so nice to meet you all. Actually, with Heloisa, next year, we want to implement a project for girls with disabilities in schools here. And so I reached out to Heloisa to find out details about what she's doing there using Scratch and technology and some of the methods she's using. And so that is another niche that we want to, because we've done a lot of projects where girls come to our centers, we bring girls, but we haven't really explored the possibility of helping girls who have been traumatized, girls who are who have come from these really tough backgrounds, or who cannot speak, or who are mentally disabled. So we want to use, we have a project that is coming up for that also.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone wants to do some question? Do you have any questions? Robert, you can write if you can. You can't. If you can't speak, you can write the question in the chat, please.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my question is, do you accept also young girls, like volunteers from other countries to help you in Tanzania, like from Europe, for example?
Very good. We haven't started accepting volunteers, but with our project, we want to begin inviting. So currently, the volunteers we are using are local volunteers because they are here, they are available, but we are open. Actually, that's one of the things why I'm really excited about meeting you guys. Is we want to see how people from other countries, you know, from your country, from Europe, that have used these tools and they're working there, how we can work together to push, to see how we can amplify our activities in Tanzania. So we are open to receive, if you have any volunteers in mind who can come and spend time with us, creating systems, developing curriculum, but also when it comes to training. The only thing is that most of the girls that we train, language is one of the things that we look towards whenever we're delivering our training. So Kiswahili is easier. So the trainers need to be able to mix where possible. But English, most of the girls know English in the advanced levels. Yeah. You're welcome.
Nice job. I love what you are doing.
Thank you. And also for you, like, so IoT is something we really want to do. And I'm sure you've been told, Adele, but the ITU, the Telecommunication Union for the UN, and us are drafting a coding camp, African Girls Coding Camp for next year. And so we are going to be looking for scratchers, we're going to be looking for trainers from Africa, but also from the network to create this coding camp, to train at this coding camp, but also in Tanzania. So things like about IoT, we want to implement IoT in Tanzania. So any support, any material you have that we can do, any projects that you think are working, in, for example, in Tunisia, we can get it and then replicate it here easily.
I will talk maybe a little bit about how we are teaching IoT and why.
Yeah.
A lot of people around the world, they use Arduino to teach robotics and embedded system. The problem with the regular Arduino Uno is that you don't have Wi-Fi. There is another board called ESP8266. It's like an Arduino. You can do the same project with an Arduino, but with Wi-Fi. When you start this doing things with Wi-Fi, it means that you can connect objects together. For example, different sensors, motors, they can connect together. They can decide together. So you don't have only one program. You have a lot of program, a lot of boards to program. The other interesting things about teaching this to kids is that you teach electronics. So with this board, you teach networking because they need to know to have some basics of networking. For this, you can teach them how to web programming because they can make their own web interface, embedded web server. They will learn also how web services works together. We work also with some specific protocols. So it's really when we speak about STEM, you see really STEM into IoT. You will mix all programming, electronics. You can have some mechanics, web services, all these things in the same project. So that's why I love teaching IoT, and I think it's really worth for us to not separate anymore electronics and mechanics and programming. I think that from the beginning of when we start teaching kids, they should like learn everything all together and not be intimidated with this technology.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to actually starting to teach IoT in Tanzania too. Yeah. Any questions?
Beatriz, do you want to make any questions? Do you have any questions to make? We can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me, Eloisa?
No. Yes, it was. Now we can hear you. Okay.
Okay, I think is answered before. I asked if Simon, hi, are you in networking with Kenya?
Yes. So we met Max at Bodu.
I don't know. I know Fred Sagwe.
No, the only person we are in contact with from Kenya is Max from the United States University, and we are thinking of working together on some of these projects. We are going to work together on the Turtle Stitch project that we're going to pilot here. He's also going to be piloting it in Kenya, hopefully soon. That's the only network. Do you have any networks in Kenya that you think we can collaborate with?
It seems that Kenya also is very is a country that is moving a lot about coding. Isn't it?
That is true. That is true. Kenya, in East Africa, Kenya is like the hotbed where technology adoption is really high. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe I have a question for the group. So I'm really excited to be part of this group and be peers. I just wanted to understand how some of the initiatives that we push in the group, some of the collaborations that we in here we share and help each other initiate and stuff like that. Yeah.
Simon, all of us, I think we are applied for, maybe you told about that. We are applied for LCL course, Learning Creative Learning. Are you applied to the course? The new?
No, I haven't. I think I should apply for it.
Yeah. It's 18 October. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good way. I hope they have a big group where they can a bigger group where we can discuss.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you to be present. It was really interesting. Always nice to hear your experience and see photos and discover what the other people are doing around the world. So it's really interesting.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So we are about finishing our session. I like very much your presentation. Congratulations. It's a very good beginning in our group. We learned a lot from you. So maybe in this final part we can talk about some practical stuff. This group, many of us were met, as I told before, and Beatrice told us. We are peers from the first creative learning from 2013. Many of us are in touch, in informal touch since then, 4 years now. Most of these people I know personally or have interacting for intensive for this time, so it's very brilliant people. It was a very passionate people, each one in his own country. And so it's a very special group because passionate people. It's not because this first LCL course had 10,000 appliances all the world. So and then it was narrowed, and since the beginning of this year, we decided to organize this session to keep the people, not only me in touch, but everybody in touch, you know, to put everybody together, this wonderful, very special people. And so each one can know each other and interact by themselves. For example, I needed something about Arduino. I can't help you with Arduino, not at all. But there is other people. So everybody can share and meet each other. This is the idea. And we are in the first semester, we had weekly sessions. Of course, nobody can make it every week. Everybody's very busy, but no problem. We still are in touch. We still are peers and friends. So we are now trying to set these technical problems because we do not have a good platform yet. We are looking for it. And since we are brilliant people and IT persons, I think we together can make it work. No matter problems we have, and no matter what we face, struggling with, we are still together, and we are growing and strengthening these relationships. So we have much things to learn.
Eloisa.
Okay.
Eloisa.
Say.
Simon, I think I had a problem with the connection.
Yes, but I think he's hearing me.
Okay.
Okay. He's just not. So that's it. So for the next 2 sessions, we would like to have some more presentations. It's not only presentations, you know, it's not a formal presentation, but just introducing yourself, talking about what you do, your experience, your expertise, your country, your challenges, just like that. Just as a very informal, easygoing presentation. So now we are organizing this schedule for the next presentations, and please stay with us, and please volunteer for these presentations to inspire others, to share with others as much as you can. That's the idea.
Thank you, Eloisa, for all this effort. It's really nice.
Thank you, Eloisa. Thanks for all. I think they will go to make a LCL group in Facebook. The MIT group will make a Facebook group. Maybe we can share our meeting in this group as well, if you want, Luisa.
We can discuss it later. It's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Eloisa. Thank you for all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Adele. Bye, Roberto e Eloisa.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Baci per i bambini.